Hello and welcome to Transformation to 5D again. My name is Marie Ramsey. I am a channel and I speak regularly with the soul world. And that is where I get a lot of my information, through messages from them. The thing to understand with the messages is reality, well, I don't know what reality is, because a lot of what they give me is possibly metaphors. So how do we explain something? We need to create a story to tell and explain, to give examples, a case study, a scenario, so that people can make sense of it. Is that story necessarily true? I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe in some existence it has been true. But in my reality, is it true or not? I don't know. So I treat everything as a metaphor to learn from. It is not, the importance is not in the detail of the facts. The importance is in the message of the story. So when I explain things to you, I am explaining the metaphors that have been given to me to help me understand things better. Are they true? I don't know. Does it matter? If I am understanding, if I am learning, if I am growing in my wisdom and knowledge, does it really matter if it's based in truth or in a story? It is about understanding the perspectives, the information, so that things make sense to me. And so please, anything I explain, take it in that context. One metaphor they gave me is that we are in a school. This is a school where souls come to learn. They take on human form, and so the energy of the soul is within the human. Now, what they described to me was, at the core of every human is essence. Essence is the love, the part of the source, the original creator. Some may call God, or a different version of God, whatever. We all have a belief that we came from somewhere. Something created all of this. Did it create it with anger and frustration, or did it create it with love? And I think we can all agree that creation is love. You create out of love. You have a passion for something, and so you create. So we can assume that love is the essence behind creation, and that essence was carried from the source, our creator, into each of us, into everything it created. Everything that is created has an essence of love in it. And so when we understand that, we realize that at the basis of everything is love. It's what you do with it that then changes the story. And that's what the school is about. It's learning how love changes when we create different elements to interact with that love. So the first school is the school of fear, and that is the old world that we have been in. It's been a school of fear. Fear is interacting with love. Does love dominate, or does fear dominate? Does fear override love? So the way I describe it is the primitive brain, the survival brain. We were created and put into a world as humans where our basic survival instinct was driven by fear. Early man had to learn to survive in a very harsh environment. They had to create a home, a family structure, a society, organizational structure to protect themselves. Everything that we have designed as humans is about survival. It's about fear of something coming along and trying to wipe us out, trying to take away our life, which is why life is so precious to us. If you look at fear, there are 4 basic elements or responses that we have to fear: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fawn is where you try to please someone so that they don't harm you. So all behaviors, when they are in survival mode, when they are out from fear, you can trace back to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fight is the conflict, the argue back, the become aggressive. Flight is to run away, to avoid something, to not want to be a part of it. Freeze is to ignore it, to pretend it's not happening, to hope it goes away if you just block it out for long enough. And fawn is the people pleaser. The I have to do it, I have to join it, I have to become one of them if I want to survive. And so when you understand survival instinct, you can understand why people behave the way that they do. It's a normal survival instinct that exists in the primitive brain. But where does love come from? Love is in the higher brain, the creative brain, the innovative brain. If you think of all of the higher things that humans have done, art, music, anything that's done with passion, anything that makes us feel good, comes from the higher brain. If you're in survival mode, there's no time for art or music. But you create them from the higher brain, from love, from passion, from joy. And so the higher brain is the place where we want to go. That is where love is. That is where our future is, our growth, our wisdom. Yes, we need the survival instincts of the primitive brain. But we only exist if we stay in the primitive brain. We only exist in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. To break out of that, to step into a more evolved world, we need to work in the higher brain. Which is why civilizations over the thousands of years have created art, created music, created higher level activities. Early civilizations created jewelry. There was no function to jewelry for survival, but it was something that made people feel good. It was a higher brain activity to make you feel good, to make you happy, to make you feel joy and beauty. These are the things that are in the higher brain function. And we could say, well, let's wipe out the primitive brain, but no, we need it. If you only exist in the higher brain function, then you're not grounded. The lower brain, the primitive brain functions ground us. We could do art all day, but the primitive brain will say, you've got to sell some of that art if you want to eat. And so we need the balance of the both. We need to be able to exist in our higher brain, to be working in the higher brain, the brain of love, of passion, of innovation, of creation. But we also need to respect the primitive brain that says, ground yourself. Look at the consequences of what you're doing. Weigh it up. Yes, enjoy it. Live in joy. But don't forget about the important things of the people in your life, the relationships, the survival stuff. When we live in the primitive brain, we are just in survival. We forget about the joy, the passion, the creation. And that's where we become stressed and anxious and unwell. When you are just running around trying to survive, trying to do what you need to do to earn enough to survive, to have your next meal, to buy the things you need to buy, to look after your family. When you're just in survival mode and you forget about the joy of life, it's a very unhealthy way to live. Because we all know and understand that fear is stressful. Chronic fear, chronic stress is unhealthy. It affects our body. Our body is not designed to be in chronic stress. Our body, if you look at the primitive man, he went out and he hunted. And for a few minutes, the adrenaline surge happened and he chased what he was chasing for dinner for that night. And then when it was all over, he brought it home, they cooked, they celebrated, they ate, they enjoyed the evening. Now, how many people are coming home today and enjoying their evening? Or they're coming home and bringing their stress home with them, taking it out on their family, being frustrated and angry over whose turn it is to do what, competing over the chores of the family, competing over getting attention from each other. It's chaotic, it's noisy, it's stressful. When is your time of joy and happiness? It's a choice. When you create that stress in your home environment, you are choosing to not enjoy your family. You are choosing to put stress and anxiety ahead of joy and love. Yes, we do need the adrenaline rush to get us out there, conquering what we need to conquer, doing what we need to do. It's a motivator. We can't exist without it. We need that motivation. We need that need to survive, driving us, but not 24/7. It should be only for the hunt. It shouldn't be in our families. It shouldn't be in our day-to-day existence. Competition, that feeling of being in competition all the time, is one of the killers of our society. Competing against people at work, competing against your partner over whose turn it is to do the dishes, over who's getting the most attention. Children compete against each other for attention, for basics, because their parents are competing against each other over trying to have some spare time, trying to have some time for each other, trying to have some time for friends. When you take away the competition and you learn to love, you learn to share, you learn to make time for each other, you learn to give each other freedom and space to have time for themselves. When we start to respect each other and go, you know what? If I want some free time, I need to let you have free time too. If I want love, I need to give you love. If I want to feel welcome and joyous in my own home, I need to make you feel welcome and joyful in your own home. If I want it, I need to give it to others too. We forget that. We are so busy trying to get from a scarce resource pool. But let me tell you, it's not a scarce resource pool. That is all that we have created as a fiction. There is plenty to go around once we start creating it. When you create out of love, there is plenty. It's an expansion activity. When you take out of fear, there is not enough to go around. So instead of taking, learn to create and expand. Learn to work from the higher brain. Instead of thinking that there's not enough for everyone, create enough for everyone. Expand. Expand by learning to share, to reciprocate. If someone does something lovely for you, pass it on, share it back. You do something lovely for someone else. Expand the love in the world. When our higher brain dominates, when the activities of the higher brain, the creative brain, the brain of joy and love and expansion, we have unlimited potential. But when we live in the primitive brain, in the brain of fear, we have no potential. All we're doing is competing over limited resources. So look at your world around you. Look at the marketing. Look at the stories you are being told. If it is a story from primitive brain fear, stop and say no. We don't need to live in fear. There's plenty. We just need to create it. Let's look at expansion. Let's look at how we create more for everyone. When you change the way you face every decision in your life, when you change the way that you work with other people into expansion instead of contraction, into love instead of fear, into creation instead of survival, you will find a completely different world. You will find that your world changes. Because when you're not living in fear, you're creating the energy of love. And when you're expanding that energy of love, other people suddenly stop living in fear. And relationships change. Opportunities come up that weren't available before. Doors open that didn't open before. Because you're expanding instead of contracting. So when you hear marketing through fear, say no thanks. If I buy, it's because it's out of love for myself, for my family, for the people around me. It's not because I feel that I have to have it. I'm not going to waste my money on fear. I will spend my money on love. If I buy it, it's out of love. If I do something, it's out of love. If you do the dishes, it's because you love your family and you want them to have clean dishes. If you help cook dinner or give your partner a break and do an activity for them, it's out of love. It's not because you feel resentful that you have to do it, it's your chore. It's because you love them. And you want to be able to get through all those activities of the evening so you can spend time together. You want to share. Yes, you're tired, so are they. How do you change that evening out of love so that you both can have time to rest? The children can be happy instead of yelled at. You turn chaos into flow. How do you use love to transform your home life, your work life? Because once you start doing that, once you step out of fear, out of scarcity mentality, and into love and expansion mentality, you will find that your world changes. Opportunities come up that you weren't looking for, because you're seeing them now. When you're in shutdown survival mode, an opportunity will come up and you go, yeah, it's too good to be true. No, that won't happen. And so you're creating a smaller world for yourself. When you're in love and expansion mode, you're opening doors and creating a bigger world for yourself. Try it. See how it goes. This is Marie Ramsey from Transformation to 5D. My websites are in the description below. And I'm here to help you let go of the old world and transform into the new world. Have a great day. Hello, I'm Marie Ramsey. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, a resource therapist, and a counsellor. I specialise in trauma healing because trauma is the basis of anxiety, depression, and most mental and physical illnesses. It is what blocks us from becoming the healthy, happy person, full of love, joy, and abundance. And so it is important to heal trauma in the transformation process. You can book sessions with me if you would like through my website transformationto5d.com. They're available online via Zoom and face-to-face in Brisbane, Australia. I'm also a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner in the Dolores Cannon style, and this is available face-to-face in Brisbane, Australia. It is a process of regressing into past lives, then talking to the higher self, and then bringing in the white lights for healing. It is an incredible experience, the quantum healing process. I am running courses on my Wisdom of Love Academy, and they are available self-paced or via Zoom in groups. In future, I'll be running workshops and retreats in different places around the world, and so if you would like to keep up to date with what is happening, subscribe to my newsletter so I can let you know the latest. I'm also willing to work with other people if they would like me to come and talk in their organisations or to run workshops and retreats with them in partnership. I hope that you are finding this podcast helpful, and if there is more topics that you would like me to cover or questions that you have, please put them in the comments or email them to me so that I can answer that in future podcasts. Together we are creating a healing community that is going to be able to transform into the new world of 5D, of love, joy, and abundance. I welcome you to this community, and I hope that you come on this journey with us of transformation so that you too can pass through the portal into the new world. Thank you. Take care.